This is a lovely cover. The story of Joseph, one of Jacob's 12 sons and his most beloved, is a very colorful one. In today's passage, we learn that Joseph had many dreams and that he listened to them and told them to his family, and that his brothers hated him for this. Later in the story, we learn that Joseph is so resented by his 11 brothers that they secretly throw him into a pit to die. And then, reconsidering that fact that they would have their brother's blood on their hands, they sell him to a caravan of Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. As the story continues, we hear the end of Joseph's saga, as he, through the gift of being able to read dreams, has gained a position of power in Egypt. He is reunited with his brothers later and is able to help and forgive them. The events in the stories in Genesis are as colorful as is that character, Joseph. When we meet him, he's wearing a long robe with sleeves, a gift from his father. In the generations since, his coat of many colors has come to be associated with, even representative of, Joseph himself. Kathy found this lovely picture, which I just really like that. As we look at this tale and attempt to understand its significance for today, it's hard to know just where to focus our attention. Like so many Bible passages, right, Steve? You have to say, well, I could go this way, I could go this way, but thank goodness, because they come around every 3 years, so it's nice to be able to go a different direction. Should it be on the anger and the fearfulness of the brothers that caused them to treat their brothers so heartlessly? Should we focus on the story as the introduction to the history of what will become the 12 tribes of Israel? Or on the specialness, the chosenness of Joseph? We could focus on this jealousy, this intense jealousy of these 11 brothers, and by extension, the nature and expression of jealousy in general. What is it? What is that green monster? Or we could take it even more courageously and look at the destructive power of jealousy in each of our own lives. All of these would be worthwhile. But that colorful coat keeps pulling me in another direction. Its rainbow colors seem to beckon us to break out of the stale images that often control our lives. Its vividness seems to call us to wake up and see with new eyes. Whatever focus we choose, the intention and action of a God whose mysterious wisdom and redemption work unfailingly throughout history must be included in the focus. I suspect that colorful coat is a valuable tool for mining the wisdom of this tale. Well, you know, I always get a little bit of my life in it. I told my daughter this last night. She is making a birthday party for the 5-year-olds right now. Today's their birthday. When my daughter Eliza was a little girl of 7, her grandma and grandpa gave her a jacket made of strips of different colors of leather. She wore it often, and I might add, with a wee bit of pride. Somehow, as little as she was, she seemed to know the jacket was special, that it made a statement. It was bold and one of a kind, and it may just be my imagination, but I sensed that while she was wearing it, she had the consciousness that she too was one of a kind. We are all one of a kind. Strangely, when I think back on her childhood and picture it in my imagination, she's often wearing that coat of many colors. Maybe I've woven my personal memory together with that 2015 popular song, country western song by Dolly Parton. I promise I won't sing anymore. Anybody want to sing though? Coat of Many Colors, in which Dolly reflects on her childhood poverty that would later influence her deep generosity. My coat of many colors that my mama made for me. Made from only rags, but I wore it so proudly. Although we had no money, I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors that my mama made for me. And in our congregation, we often sing a festive song, De Colores, a traditional Mexican folk song included in the UCC hymnal. Sing of colors that over the hills in profusion are springing. Sing of colors of the birds that fly outside my window, their canticles singing. Sing of colors in the rainbow's bright colors, God's promise of hope we recall. Sing of colors that make up the earth and give thanks to the God who created us all. The words remind us that the very beauty and vibrancy of colors has a message for us, to wake up and pay attention to the joy that is all around us and within us, to see the particular qualities that make nature what it is. Chuck brought a beautiful painting that he had painted as a conclusion to Sunday school that has exactly that. The colors and the qualities of what nature is, the circular qualities of nature. See if he'll show it to you. To look with an innocence of spirit upon both the landscape without and the landscape within. Joseph was a young boy when he naively blurted out his dreams to his family. He merely reported what he saw without guile or agenda. "Hey, listen to this dream I dreamed," he said. "There we were binding sheaves in the field, and suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright. Then your sheaves gathered round it and bowed down to my sheaf." Huh. As if this were not enough, he continued, "Look, I have had another dream. The sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." Needless to say, these dreams, though supposedly given by God, did not endear him to his already jealous brothers. Joseph was a colorful character. God had a purpose for his life. The time of the patriarchs was coming to an end. Jacob's progeny would soon become the 12 tribes of Israel. To this, fate would have it that Joseph's dreams would bring the family into Egypt. First, these dreams provoke the brothers to sell Joseph to strangers. Next, they lead to Joseph's prediction of the future, which was this great, if I go off thing, I can't think of the word. Okay. What? Famine. Thank you, Louise. This huge famine he was able to predict through his dreams. And he gained in this way a powerful position in the Pharaoh's household. Here Joseph would eventually bring all his brothers to escape the famine. In the generation following theirs, the Hebrew people would then be identified as a particular ethnic group and would be put to harsh service in this foreign land. The stage for the Exodus and the leadership of Moses would be set. God had a plan for history by which God would reveal the covenant with Abraham. Sure, this plan took a circuitous route. Life always does. But Scripture tells us that God was an active character in the whole drama. We can see this now from the retrospective of history. But we as perceptive and as easily convinced about God's participation in our own lives while we are in the process of living them? That's what you hear call a rhetorical question. Joseph was a colorful character. God had a purpose for his life. But to his brothers who lived alongside him, he was a pain in the posterior. These nomadic shepherds worked out in the hot sun, playing by the rules, the cultural norms that determined that the oldest son would be the favored one. But tripping out into the fields comes Joseph with his clean hands, his obnoxious dreams, and the obvious favoritism of his father. I can feel the blood boiling in their veins. Human beings are often made uncomfortable by colorful characters. Once these dreamers, these visionaries, these revolutionaries of thought are safely dead, history books can eulogize them for many years to come. Copernicus, Lincoln, Joan of Arc, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Mozart, Picasso, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Rachel Carson, and Jesus of Nazareth. They were all highly controversial figures of their day. As we look back at their lives, we can celebrate their contribution to the future of civilization. and to the well-being of us all. Once these former radicals are carefully institutionalized in the history books, it becomes safe for us to lift them up as images deserving of respect. But while they're still alive, these same human beings were often held in great suspicion, labeled as troublemakers, as uppity or arrogant or dangerous or crazy. Now I'm going to give this one moment just to see if anybody has one. I bet you do, Mr. Morrison. Give us an example of one of these colorful characters that we are just not sure that we can say out loud in church. Or Malcolm X, okay? Yes. If you raise your hand, you're by it, okay? What other characters do you think? Yeah.
Karin.
Oh, gosh, stop. Go. Okay. Who else? Who else?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, okay, yay. Who else? Come on, just play. I can't play on command either. I'm gonna wait for two more.
Lily Tomlin.
Who?
Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin. Oh, such a genius.
You say it all.
Huh?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Fun.
Justina Ford.
Who?
Justina Ford.
Oh. Who was he? She?
Yeah, she was a black woman doctor in the 1900s in Denver. That was a mainstay of the black community. Delivered a lot,
Wonderful.
thousands of babies.
Albert Einstein. Meister Eckhart.
Meister Eckhart. I think they heard you, Jill. Okay.
Josephine Baker.
Who's that?
Josephine Baker. She was an entertainer, a black entertainer here in the U.S. And she was somewhat rejected, so she went to France and became a huge hit all over the country. And then during the war, she worked as a spy. And after the war, she had ended up adopting 11 children from all different nationalities.
Wow, thank you. Josephine Baker.
Correct.
These figures of history and those alive in our day are a few steps ahead of their time. Whether in science and art, politics, literature, religion, these human beings offer a truth that reaches beyond the common thought of the world in which they lived. This forward thinking is their genius and their gift to the world, but it's also the source of their controversy. They're often hated with a vehemence that is hard to understand. Humanity's unconscious fears are projected onto them. These may be fears about change or loss, fears about ideas that tear into our comfortable notions about how things work, who God is, how society should function. Like, the earth is not the center of the universe. Nonviolence is the only real path toward peace. People of color deserve the same opportunities and respect as white people. Good art is not always beautiful. Women should have a voice in society and the right to vote. Slavery must be abolished from the Union, but the Union must be saved. The environment is under siege and must be protected, even if that limits your wealth and comfort. War is never fully justified and never solves the precipitating problem. People have sought to destroy such voices as these. They've often been successful in killing the human being who utters them, but never in eliminating the voice itself. The truth is picked up by others, and it lives on with even more influence. Jesus was killed for uttering words and performing actions the world desperately needed to see and hear, but were not yet prepared to receive. We Christians hold this reality at the center of our faith. The cross is the central symbol of this faith. What is it but a reminder of our willingness to destroy what is larger than ourselves? Joseph was tossed into a pit by those offended by what they weren't able to understand. But he was also lifted up out of the pit. We're told this was the action of a God who had a greater plan. This is a tale which communicates a spiritual truth, a truth that demands patience, a truth that perhaps only the passing of years, many years, can bring forth. Human beings continue to malign and discredit voices of truth that they are not ready or able to accept. Human beings continue to destroy colorful characters and people of color, to subject them to public inquisition and ridicule, to imprison them, to send them out of the country, to silence them in whatever way is possible. Joseph's tale reminds us that those who boldly claim their uniqueness, who push beyond the boundaries of their day, who speak a language we may not yet have learned, do not need, as some mistakenly believe, to be brought down to earth. When we recognize their brilliance, well, it can illuminate our own brilliance, yeah? Who admits that they are brilliant in some way? Oh, I knew you would. Who admits that they are humble? Okay, never mind. When we recognize their courage, it can foster our own courage. Their insistence on perceiving life in many colors can draw us into the discovery of our own honest perceptions. Oh, I thought that a long time ago, but nobody was saying it. Finally, somebody's saying that. Oh, our own colors, gifts that serve the greater good. The disciple Peter saw the vision of Jesus walking on the water toward him, and he used that vision to find a quality within himself, the strength of his own will. When the strong wind confronted him and he became frightened and lost heart and began to sink, he cried out to this vision of the Christ to save him, and Jesus reached out to him. Like Joseph in the pit, Peter was lifted up for an as yet to be understood purpose that lay ahead. So we are all people of color, colorful characters for whom a yet to be discovered purpose lies ahead. Our colors are our unique qualities. Our colorfulness is our joyful and purposeful expression of these qualities. Bold thinking is not arrogant. A sense of purpose is not pompous. De colores. Sing of colors. In the rainbow's bright colors, God's promise of hope, we recall. Sing of colors that make up the earth and give thanks to the God who created us all. Amen.